A federal case that could seriously impact Washington's new marijuana industry will be decided right here in Spokane. 5 people face decades in prison for growing medical pot on a remote property near Colville. It's a story you saw first on KXLY4 last night. And Ian Cull in the courtroom for another pretrial motion today. So, Ian, how can this medical case affect recreational growing?
Well, basically, Nadine, because federal prosecutors say a person can be arrested for growing just one marijuana plant. While these people say that they were abiding by state law, just growing for themselves, this case is in federal court, so that defense doesn't really hold up. In fact, it brings up the argument, if they're going to go after these people, these medical patients, will they also go after the state-licensed recreational grows as well? More than a dozen people are now licensed to grow recreational marijuana in Washington. The state says it's okay. The feds standing by to see how it's regulated. While all of this is happening, a federal trial is set to begin in less than a month here in Spokane, involving 5 card-carrying medical marijuana patients.
We're growing a few plants up there just for our own consumption, and along comes the law.
Their grow of 74 plants, similar to these ones, was raided in August of 2012 at Larry Harvey's remote home in Kettle Falls. Larry, his wife, and 3 others, now called the Kettle Falls Five, and if all 5 were growing individually, the plants would be legal.
So much so that the state declined to prosecute. The state declined, to seize all of the marijuana.
But if the 5 are growing together, only 45 are allowed. It's why federal agents confiscated 29 plants, but left 45. Several pounds of marijuana and pot-infused food was also taken. National marijuana advocates watching closely question why prosecutors are moving forward with the case, while senior White House officials quoted this week saying the president may pardon hundreds or thousands of nonviolent drug offenders.
How at the same time can they be planning to release people who've already been prosecuted and convicted and move forward with more prosecutions of the exact same people that they're trying to release?
The defendants face up to 40 years in prison. One of them faces life. It brings up the question, if the state chose not to prosecute these people but the federal government did, what stops them from going after licensed grows and retail shops? The Department of Justice sent out a memo to all U.S. attorneys last August saying that they prefer these U.S. attorneys go after drug traffickers and people who are putting pot in the hands of children instead of medical patients. But the assistant U.S. attorney said in court today that those are simply guidelines and they're not mandatory. Reporting live in downtown Spokane, Ian Cull, KXLY4 News.